James Lankford of Oklahoma serves on the Budget Committee. He's a freshman in the freshman class, and he joins us now. And Congressman Lankford, you caught our eye because of this quote in the Washington Post. You were talking about being a private citizen and changing to become a politician. And you say when you get here to Washington, you get into the facts and into the weeds, it's worse than you ever thought. Tell us more about that. Why is it worse than you thought?
Well, it's worse than I thought because of how irresponsible this has been for so long. This is not some recent addition, and there is some play back and forth to say in the last 2 years it's advanced, and it has advanced more than ever. But we've been handling this for a long time. America's carried debt since Andrew Jackson was president. We've had a little bit of debt, but it's not been like this. And most Americans think if we just cut back a few programs, if we just did a little tweak here and there, we'd resolve this. But in reality, every bit of our military spending, every single agency that we have as a federal government is entirely paid for with borrowed money. So that is not sustainable. We've got to get us back into balance.
What's the most difficult part of being someone new with a new set of eyes and having to also negotiate with folks that have been there for a long, long time and have been, as some say, part of this problem?
I think the most difficult part of it is that there are a lot of people that are in D.C. that don't think there is a problem. They really think, well, we've had debt, we can manage this, we can handle it, and it's accelerating so fast now. But they keep thinking, well, it's not really a problem. I know we can do this. And there's a whole group of freshmen that are standing up there saying, this is not sustainable. We've got to be able to stop this level of spending. We really don't have a tax problem. We really do have a spending problem. And if you look at the rapid advance of our spending, you see this generation of leaders that's really been saying, times are tough, and so I'll make it easier on me and my generation by making it tougher on the next generation. You know, those of us that are freshmen are stepping in and saying, that's not right to do the next generation. We've got to solve it now.
But we've heard that saying from others of your party leadership before about it. It's a spending problem. It's not a revenue problem. That's been something that we've heard. So how are you going to vote when it comes to the debt ceiling as a freshman who's seeing these new issues and all the things that you just said? How are you going to vote on that?
Well, here's the issue on the debt ceiling. I did not come to Congress to raise more debt in America. I came to be able to deal with the debt problem. So what we've got to do is find a solution to start bending this curve back down. That's the big issue. And people talk about this being a big game of chicken. It's not a big game of chicken back and forth. The House passes a bill and sends it over to the Senate. The Senate ignores it. The Senate passes a bill, sends it to the House. The House ignores it. There are very few things we have to do together. A debt ceiling vote is one of those things we have to do together. And so this is a rare moment where the House and the Senate are forced to sit down. All we're saying from the House side is, if we're sitting down anyway, let's take on some big picture items that we've got to be able to take on and look for the systemic ways we can solve this. This is not a game of chicken. This is a time we know we're going to be sitting down and talking. Let's solve the problem, not just extend it another year.
Congressman, I was looking at, and you were a youth camp director. One of the things you did before running for Congress. Are you happy now? You like this new job? You like this new gig you got?
This is the right thing to do. For 22 years, I've been in ministry. For the last 13 years before that, I was the director of the Falls Creek camp, which is the largest Christian camp in America. I love doing it, love working with students, love working with families, but this is right for me to be able to take on at this point.
There's probably some, I'm sure, crossover between being a camp director and also working in Congress. It's a big camp.
I can tell you, working with teenagers so many years, there are a lot of congressmen that act pretty juvenile, so it works pretty well.
Well, I'll take your word for that. Congressman Lankford, nice to have you on our program. We look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you. Glad to be